Okay, so let's go on to add our enemies. All right. Now, if we think back to a few lessons ago when we're doing the rock paper scissors, okay, think about how we want the enemy cars to spawn. You realize that we would need stuff to be happening at random points on the screen. So we want them to be spawning at random positions. Okay, let me put it that way. We want them to be spawning at random positions. Okay. Now, in light of that, what am I getting at? I'm getting at the fact that we should just import random. You can use this before importing it. But now, once we have done that, we need to create variables for the enemy cars. Okay, just like we have for this car over here. Again, I said it's 2D, so 2 dimensions. We are going to have an X and then we are going to have a Y. Okay, so let me see, where do I even put this? Let me put it before the clock. Let me see, enemy car. Let me see, enemy car positions. All right, good. Now I have something like this. What we want to do is we want to say enemy. So here's why. So here's why it's good to group your code together. So we want something like enemy car. In fact, let me just call it enemy. So enemy X, like our X, okay. And then we want enemy Y. That'll be like our Y. Okay, that's very simple. And now what to actually do with it? Once again, we have imported our random, okay. We need a random position, okay, between, again, these numbers we are working with, they are integers. So like, yeah, you see rand int. So we want a random integer between 0 and the width, okay, minus 60. Now, I hope you followed the whole explanation I gave when we're preventing the out of bounds moves, okay. When we're doing the left one and the right one, I hope you followed all those explanations. Like, think about it. So the width makes the horizontal part of our screen, the smaller part. We want to find somewhere within that horizontal section. So anywhere between 0, this just means anywhere between 0 and then the other one, left one and right, or anywhere between the bounds be spawning at a random integer. Now integer because these will be formed by, should I say, coordinates. Okay, so just form a random integer that will determine the position and the, yeah. And you want to see enemy at Y is equal to, let's see, negative 100. Okay, good. And with this, well, not exactly in bounds per se, this technically even, should I say, out of bounds, but like coming from the top there. Okay, so in the loop, what we want to do is we can be increasing this to create the illusion. I think that will be determining our speed. All right, so let's come in here and let's work of something. Okay, so we see enemy Y, and let's just try to be incrementing it. Let's see by 7. Okay, so this is just going to be determining the speed by which is coming out. So again, we are going to write a similar check to keep this in bounds. Okay, so if enemy Y, like this, enemy Y is greater than the height, okay, then we just set enemy Y back to the starting point. That's, let me see, negative 100. I believe that's all it did. Yeah, so we just set enemy Y back to negative 100. Then again, we need to deal with enemy X. Enemy X like this is equal to, say, random dot rand int. We say 0, the width minus 60. Again, just standard stuff to keep all the spawnings we are doing inside our screen. Okay, let me put it like that. Okay, we want to keep everything inside our screen. So finally, when we have done all this, again, we are not done. This is all just logic. Okay, this is all just logic. So we want to come to where we draw stuff, and then we want to draw, let me draw it here. We want to draw our enemy. Okay, that's the enemy cars. Again, we just need to follow those specific patterns. Okay, so say PyGame, where's PyGame? Dot draw. What do you want to draw? We want to draw a rectangle. Again, now once again we come back to the fact that our rectangles, it takes in a screen color value and then the rectangle value itself. So let's see, screen, that's taking a screen, takes in a surface, sorry, which surface we want to put it. Okay. Then for our color value, let's see, I want to give it a blue color. Okay, so we know that the wheel is RGB, so this is for our red, this is for our green, this is for our blue. So if we tune out the rest of the colors, we will automatically have red. Okay, that's if we fill only RGB, we will automatically have blue. So we'll say something like 0, 0, and then we fill the blue, let's say 255. Alright, this should give us blue. Okay, good. And then finally, over here, we want to see enemy. Like, what are we drawing the rectangle with? We are drawing it with our enemy X and our enemy Y, and then 60, 100. Okay, good. So again, this will be, should I say, the dimensions of it. Yeah, so these dimensions are like identical to the ones we have for the car weight and then the car height. So if we want to be more, we can just put in these variables instead of the hard code, but I think that will be fine. I think that's fine. Yes, so you realize that both the enemy car and the player car will be similar in dimensions. Let me put it that way. Okay, so now let's run this and let's see our enemy car in action. So we'll have blue and then we'll have red. Yeah, so you can see the spawning is happening over here. And it's going to be happening across random points in the thing. But as you can see, just pass over it. There will be no collision. We do not want this. We want to do it in a way that when there is contact, okay, between the enemy car and then our player car, like there's some consequences, like game over or something. You know how the racing games are. Yeah, so that's basically what we want. So we want to implement collision detection next. Okay, then work off that. We used to have our score logic, we'll have all of that, and I think we can call it a day. At this point, we are close to being done with this. Okay, yeah, so that's what is next for us.